Yo guys, how's it going? So today a brand new game release called Anime Rangers X. In my channel I previously did a beginner's guide on the first one. Now this is the continuation of that, which is really cool. Now the game was okay, but it wasn't amazing. You know, I used to be CC manager for it for a little bit. You know, didn't really get to do much for the game, but you know, I still love the concept of the game. And now they finally have, you know, collaborated with a bunch of different popular devs you may know, and of course some from Vanguard, which is probably why the first thing you notice about this UI is that it reminds you of Vanguard's, and that's because most of the UI is literally copied one-to-one from Vanguard. So if you like anime Vanguards, you'll pretty much enjoy this game quite a bit. Today we're going to show you not only an XP method, but we're also going to show you a gem method, and of course how to go from a new player to a pro player in just one video. Now I'm not going to make this video too long. I'm going to get straight into the point just so you guys can go ahead and leave a like down below so you can always get notified when I make the best content for you guys. And of course I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible before other people get to the method, so you guys can be informed first and foremost. And now we're gonna go ahead and tell you everything that there is to know about the game, so you know, strap on because it's gonna be a long video. But what do you use gold for? Gold is over here in stats. You can go ahead and upgrade your maximum yen, your yen generation, and tower health. Now I'm gonna go a quick run by what this does. So yen generation, basically when you're in the game, you can basically regen your yen every second, which will allow you to obviously place the units down on the map. Okay, so that will be very important because you also can upgrade these units once you place them, so that's pretty cool. Now the maximum yen increase, this is the most important one that you should upgrade always. You know, prioritize this one because some units do cost a lot at first, so to actually place them, it's going to cost you at least 1,000. Now tower health is pretty much the last thing you gotta prioritize, because if it gets to your tower, you're just not strong enough and you're gonna die regardless. So make sure you don't waste your coins on this and just prioritize these two right here. Now gems, you can obviously go ahead and go to summons, and of course summon for a unit right here in the gacha, which, you know, you have a bunch of different units you can get. Now the cool thing about this game is only 1% chance for the mythical, which is a lot better than most games. Some games go even as low as 0.25, which is in my opinion absurd for a mythical. So I'm really glad this game takes it a little bit easier, and it only costs 400 with VIP, so I recommend you buy VIP if you have the funds. I'll go ahead and make sure I do a giveaway for that, so make sure you go ahead and join my Discord so you can be notified when I do that giveaway. So, you know, just making sure y'all know Congar got you, bro. So on the right over here, we also have a boss event, which, you know, once you get strong enough, you'll also be able to try to get the cursed love, which is a limited time unit. So make sure that you guys go ahead and get strong enough so you can obviously do this a bunch of times, just like in anime Vanguards, and try to get the best unit pretty much. Now I will also have a tier list at the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned because that will be very useful for you. But real quick, just, you know, the store, there's a bunch of different game passes you can get. Some game passes are actually very useful, and I recommend you definitely getting, like VIP and Fast Star. I would definitely recommend you get. So just in case you were wondering which ones to get, I would get these two for sure. Okay, now also, you know, instant trade if you do have these spare Robux, because it's only 79, and you can get to support the game development, which I think is a bonus as well. Now this is pretty much a scam. Don't buy this. I wouldn't recommend you, at least. But only 3 trait rerolls. You get more for a code than you get from this. Okay, so I don't recommend you get that. It's just not going to be worth it. Now quest is pretty simple. You know, you claim all and then you get a bunch of different stuff. Now finally but not least, what you guys really want to talk about is codes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and show you all of the codes right now, so make sure that you understand. You also have to be level 5. Okay, if you're not level 5, you won't be able to type in any of these codes, so make sure you get to level 5 first before you do anything else in this game, so you can go ahead and be ready. Okay guys, because a big deal in this game, level matters a lot. Okay, so make sure that you go ahead and get to level 5 before typing these codes in. But I'm going to go ahead and show you right now, if you are level 5, what kind of codes there are. Now compared to every other game, these codes are very weird because they have spaces, and they also have a bunch of different like marks, which is a bit weird. Not many games do this. I think this is probably the only game that does this right now. But basically this is the first code, ARX Release, and then boom, just type it in like so. The next code is going to be happy birthday to those born today, blah blah blah. So basically type all this in and you'll go ahead and do it. But you know, Conguard again got you. So if you're subscribed, you can go ahead and check the description and you can go ahead and just copy and paste this if you're on PC, or of course you know, copy and paste it on phone if you can do that as well. 1K favorites, guys. Okay, so type that in as well and then you should be basically good to go, man. So those are all the codes currently in the game. I'm sure there'll be more in the future, so make sure you stay tuned because I'll be, of course, making sure I tell you guys all the codes in the Discord. Okay, so make sure you guys join my Discord as well, also in the description down below, boys. Okay, now we're gonna go to the level milestone right over here, which is where you can actually claim your rewards when you level up every 5 levels, which, you know, some games also do, like Vanguards and such. Over here we have the units index. Again, you can just go ahead and claim all this by just clicking claim all, and then there you go. And the way you actually get more gems in there is, of course, by just doing the gacha. Now the new one is Thunder Sword. Again, I'll show you a tier list and why you should not get this one, but you know, that's later in the video, boys. And now I'm going to show you guys the best XP method. Now this is for all the people that are struggling to get to that level 5 mark. Okay, now the first thing that I required you to do is get a legendary. Okay, if you don't have a legendary, you're gonna struggle a lot when it comes to getting XP. I recommend Thunder God as your first one because he's very strong. He's kind of like a little damage dealer, which is really strong for those bosses. Okay, so make sure you have at least Thunder God and at least another legendary. I recommend Light, but of course there's other legendaries you can obviously use. There's a lot of units in this game, surprisingly, on release, which is why I think this game is going to blow up any second. After you have some decent units, you're going to go ahead and wonder, what can I do to get to level 5? So of course I can unlock the code section, which is where you're going to get most of your gems there. So the best way that I see is by doing Nightmare. Now when you do Nightmare on these chapters, you actually get a lot of XP and a lot more than you would if you do normal. For example, normal on chapter 1 would actually give you 30 XP, but if you do it on Nightmare, you actually get double as much, so you'll get 60 XP. Now once you get to the green planet, you'll get up to 150 XP. That is absurd and a lot of XP for you to, of course, level up. And when you do Nightmare, it actually isn't that hard. I know you would probably think to yourself that it would be very difficult, but it really isn't once you have the legendary units. Now a gem method is going to be a little trickier because you don't actually get gems after you complete the first round. So the best gem method currently would probably to just be completing all of the chapters. So basically all of the maps, just complete all of them. And then I would recommend doing the ranger stage once you get a little bit stronger, because it is very difficult. But pretty much the best way to get gems is by completing each one of the story, and you get quite a bit, to be honest. And especially with all the quests, you should be guaranteed a mythical at the minimum. So right over here we have trait rerolls, which you can obviously use just like in any other game. If we click right here, areas, we can go ahead and see all the areas that you can go to in the lobby. Obviously the one that we're going to go to is trait, and over here we have something called curse, which is basically the fingers. Again, pretty self-explanatory what it does, basically like in every other game. And over here we have trait rerolls. Now I'm not going to waste my trait rerolls because of course I'm going to save up until I get a mythical. It's pretty much all of the traits that you can get. Sovereign, I'm going to pop on the screen right now what it actually does and gives you. So if you were curious about how good it is, this is basically what it is. And over here we have limit break, by the way, right next to it. Over here is stat potential. So over here basically in the traits area is where you're going to find all of the other things like you do in every other game. And then over here we have the challenge, which is basically where you get those things to limit break and all that stuff, and as well as reroll stats. Now the final area we're going to check out on this guide is going to be the evolve area, which I have something to tell you guys that you guys will really find helpful. So if you stayed this far into the video, make sure you go ahead and leave a like and subscribe, because Conguard always gives you the best tips possible. So if you have a Demon Slayer shiny epic, you can actually evolve it to a mythical shiny Demon Slayer mythical, which is just absurd. And all you need is a sunrise earrings. At the end of the video, like I told you guys before, I'm gonna pop on the screen the best tier list and the first tier list made by the developers and owners of the game that you can go ahead and check out to make sure that you get the best mythical first, and of course not waste your gems on somebody bad. Okay,